This is the day which the Lord hath made. From Search Me, O God, by Brother Gilbert Growcott, pages 78 up to 79. This is the day which the Lord hath made. Psalm 118:24. Thank God for every new day. Make each one afresh, thankful, enthusiastic new beginning. Yesterday's follies, failures, fleshlinesses, weaknesses, time wastings are all gone with the night. Analyzed, learned from, repented of, forgiven. Today we try again to do a little better, to grow a little more mature, to control the flesh more faithfully, to serve God more lovingly, to remember Him more continuously. Out of weakness to grow strong, upon passing sorrow and disappointment to build eternal hope and joy, with prayerful meditation to reach more deeply into everlasting truth, to discern and set aside one by one the myriad follies of the flesh. We are nothing, God is everything. Only the totally self-emptied will He fill. Eschew self-confidence like the plague. It is the world's God, not ours. Do your best continually, knowing it is upon it thing, nothing. But if God is in it, it is one small part of the eternal temple that will endure when all else has passed away. The reading of the Bible and the appreciation of it. From Seasons of Comfort, Volume 1, by Brother Roberts, pages 84 up to 85. The reading of the Bible and the appreciation of it. The reading of the Bible and the appreciation of it will react productively one upon the other. Read the Word and you will appreciate it. Appreciate it and you will desire it, and seek the comfort that is to be found in reading it. And thus, as in every vital process, there will be a dual action which will preserve life. But there is a view of the matter outside of the Word and outside of man, because there is a God outside the Word and outside of man. The Word is the only form in which the name and honor of God have a visible place among men at the present time. His temple is in the dust, His nation scattered, His kingdom destroyed. His word remains, and He hath magnified it above all His name. It is in the hands of the nations. It is the principal and most numerously multiplied book in the world. It is everywhere His representative. The Bible in the house is God in the house. The Bible in a man's life is God in a man's life. Where people place the Bible, they place God. The place it demands is the heart, the throne. With nothing less will God be satisfied. Do you neglect it? You neglect God. Do you allow the affairs of house or business or friends to ride over it, to displace it from the first position, to put it in the corner, to keep it hidden, neglected, disregarded? Then is God cast behind your back, and great is your danger. A voice of thunder would not be too loud to rouse you from your folly. You say you have no time to read. The plea is absolutely inadmissible. You take time to eat and drink, and this is the most important kind of eating and drinking. You will have to take time to be ill some of these days. Death will rap at the door, and He won't ask you if you have time to attend to Him. Christ will stand in the earth one of these days, and what about your family, your house, your business then? You will want to turn to wisdom in a hurry, but wisdom will fly far from you. You will want to seek God with your whole heart, but He will not be found of you. So has God arranged things that He will cause everyone to find the fruit of his ways. Wisdom crieth without, she uttereth her voice in the streets. How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you. Blessed are they that keep my ways. Hear instruction and be wise, and refuse it not. Blessed is the man that heareth me, watching daily at my gates, waiting at the post of my doors. For whoso findeth me findeth life, and shall obtain favor of the Lord. But he that sinneth against me wrongeth his own soul. All they that hate me love death. That Old Serpent, from The Evil One, by Brother Robert Roberts, pages 20 up to 21. That Old Serpent. The phrase, that old serpent, as one of the Bible's devil's synonyms, is clearly an allusion to the part performed by the serpent in the original introduction of sin. This part we have already considered. The natural serpent, more observant than other animals and gifted for the time with the power of expressing its thoughts, reasoned upon the prohibition which God had put upon the tree in the midst of the garden, and concluding that all he saw and heard, that death would not be the result of eating, he said, Ye shall not surely die, for God that know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. Genesis 3, 4 and 5. Thus the serpent became not only a devil, but the devil is in the historical sense, for he originated the slander under the belief of which our first parents disobeyed the divine command, and introduced sin and death to the world. He was, therefore, the natural symbol of all that resulted from his lie. The present constitution of the world is the amplified result of his suggestions, and therefore it is no unnatural description which symbolically labels the present evil world as that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan. The individual serpent itself has long since passed away in the course of nature, but the fruits remain and the principle lives. The idea instilled by it into the minds of our first parents has germinated to the production of generations of human serpents. Mankind has proved but an embodiment of the serpent idea, so that they are all calumniators of God in disbelieving his promises and disobeying his commandments. Hence Jesus would say to the Pharisees, Ye serpents, how can you escape the damnation of hell? Matthew 23:33. And again, ye are of your father the devil, slanderer or serpent. And the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning. He brought death upon mankind by inciting Adam and Eve to disobedience, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. John 8:44. The children of this world are the children of the devil, because they are the progeny of a serpent-devil contaminated paternity. The world as it now is the embodiment of the devil principle. This principle originated in an agent, and for that reason the principle retains the name of the originator in common discourse. Therefore it is that the world in its corporate and organized antagonism to God, as prophetically exhibited to John in this political symbol of a great red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns, is named that old serpent, the devil and Satan. Therefore, too, that the putting down of the governments of men and the setting up of the kingdom of God at the commencement of the millennium is symbolized as the binding of the dragon, that old serpent, the devil and Satan. Revelation 22. His deceiving of the whole world refers to the government as distinct from the people. The Atoning Sacrifice of Christ, from the Berean Christadelphian magazine, October 1927 issue, pages 446 up to 447. The Atoning Sacrifice of Christ. The atonement is a fundamental doctrine of the Scriptures. It is a primary element, an essential principle in religion, the divinely revealed process or plan of redemption, for bringing man back and binding him as at one with the deity by a change and incorruptible nature. From the Latin re, back, and lego, to bind, religion means a binding back, or as Dr. Thomas puts it, means instituted to put them at one again with the Lord, that he might bring them back from the ground to which they had been condemned to return. The taking of life by the effusion of blood was the central feature of the atoning sacrifice, both in type and antitype, and this shedding of blood to make an atonement being a divine institution demands our deepest and most reverential study. The leading distinction between the various oblations offered under the Mosaic economy were those made by the shedding of blood and those made without blood. That which was instituted by the deity for the redemption of the body, nature, or soul was the former, because the soul or life being in the blood. It was divinely stipulated that it was the blood, and the blood only, that could make an atonement for the soul or the life must be surrendered. Doubtless God taught Adam, as he afterward instructed Moses, saying, "It is the blood that maketh an atonement for the soul." It is a reasonable conclusion, as well as a revealed fact, that an atoning sacrifice by the shedding of blood could be none other than a divine institution originating in a divine command. Men of the world, unenlightened by the word, have always expressed their astonishment as to how so strange an institution could even have originated among men, and how and upon what judicious principle it could possibly be regarded as pleasing to God. Therefore, moved by this impulse that is natural to men, it occurred to Cain, who brought an offering of the fruit of the ground, that surely such an offering would be more likely to gain the favor of God than one made by the shedding of blood. This was the reason of an unbelieving man. He failed to realize that life had been forfeited through disobedience, and that this fact must be humbly recognized as a basis for the extension of God's mercy and forgiveness. Therefore, understanding that an atoning sacrifice by the shedding of blood was divinely required from the very beginning, when death came by sin, we can easily understand why the Lord had respect unto Abel and his offering, while he rejected that of Cain. Genesis 4:4.